My name is Patricia Fisher, and I am the principal percussionist of the Livonia Symphony, the Rochester Symphony, and the Motor City Brass Band here in the state of Michigan. Today, we're going to talk about rudiments, specifically drum rudiments. This video was suggested by a teacher in the Clarenceville High School District called Christopher Coons. There's going to be a very basic discussion about rudiments. We're going to talk about the 26 main rudiments, the categories within the 26 main rudiments, and the 2 basic strokes that go into every rudiment. And then I'm going to demonstrate 5 of the rudiments, 1 from each category. So if you know anything about drums and percussion, rudiments usually have some pretty funny names, like the Flam, and the Paradiddle, and the Roof. And the reason for that is because rudiments were taught originally orally, like history and other cultural things were passed down from generation to generation. Rudiments have been around for centuries, and they're a big part of military drumming. But now they're applied to drumming everywhere. So what are the 2 basic strokes in a rudiment? Well, the first basic stroke is just a single stroke. 1 tap for each hand. Now, if you really get very good at doing the single strokes, they go very fast. But when you're just starting out, you want to practice them very slowly. And if you can have one, you want to get a metronome. So here's my metronome right now. And I'm going to set it up here, and I'm going to set it very low. So I'm assuming you understand what eighth notes and quarter notes are. So this is going to be a quarter note. And I'm going to play some single strokes first. I'm going to play them all with 1 hand. And then I'm going to play them with my left hand. That's pretty much what a single stroke is. So, one of the things in rudiments is that when you practice them very slowly like that, and then you practice them slowly to fast to slowly again. And that's because as you do that, it builds up the muscles in your hands and your fingers. So while I was doing the single strokes, now I'm alternating right, left, or R, L, R, L, if you've seen that in music. If I'm doing it a true rudimental way, then I start slowly speeding up. And then I slow down again. Now when you're first learning rudiments, it's way easier to do them slow. But when you get to a point where you think you understand which hand goes when, that's when you start doing slowly to fast to slowly. And as you improve and get better, you're going to find you go faster and slower, and it smooths out when you go up to the fast part and back down again. Sometimes it might be kind of weird where you start like this, and then all of a sudden you're like, and there's nothing in between. That's okay, that happens all the time. So that's the basic stroke for rudiment number 1, the single stroke. Now the second basic stroke for all rudiments is a double stroke. And it sounds exactly like it sounds. 2 hits in 1 hand, then 2 hits in the other hand. So right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. So let me turn my metronome on again. It's a little faster now. It's at 85 now. And we're just going to do some rudiments, some double strokes. Here we go. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Now this part's pretty easy, even if you're doing it way slower, because you're kind of using your entire wrist and your hand to make the double strokes. The trick with double strokes is as you get faster, you're actually bouncing the head of the stick on the head of the drum. And so you end up doing one movement with your arm and your hand, but you get 2 hits out of the stick. Let me show you what I mean. We're going to do this a little bit faster. Okay. And I'm going to play 16th notes with doubles. Now if you see, my arm is going up once and down once, but I'm getting 2 hits out of the stick. Sounds like this. Same with the left hand. So how does that work? Well, I'm going to turn to my side here and show you a little bit. So what ends up happening, and I'm playing what they call match grip. We'll talk about that in a little bit. What ends up happening is my fingers are acting as a spring. So when I go down, the stick hits the drum, it bounces back a little bit, then my fingers get the second hit in. So I got a nice padded table here. I'm going to play my right hand on the pad and my left hand on the table so you can't hear it, and you can see what my right hand is doing. See how that right hand, the back fingers are acting like a spring? But my hand's only going up and down once. Let's try it on the left hand. Same thing. I'm going to show you what the left hand looks like. Same padded table. Here we go. So that's really what's going on. Double strokes, when you're doing them faster, are actually bouncing twice on the head for each up and down stroke that you make with your hand and your arm. So let's look at the double strokes going slow, fast, slow again. Here we go. Now, my left hand was not great, but you can see how that works, where when I'm really fast, the arm is going like this, but I'm getting multiple bounces out of each stick. Now, that doesn't happen first thing right off. It's hard to do. You got to practice it. There's this thing that happens that I like to call the Grand Canyon, where you're doing your doubles with each hand motion, and then you want to start bouncing, and it goes. There's a big gap in there between the speed where I was bouncing and the speed where each motion of the hand created a tap on the drum. That's okay. It takes practice to shrink that canyon down so it's really smooth, so that nobody hears when you switch from every hand motion to doubles. So you may ask, why would I want to learn rudiments? Well, there's a lot of really good reasons for learning rudiments. The first one is that if you're going to be in a marching band, and if you're in a band in high school, you're probably going to be in a marching band, you're going to have to play rudiments in the marching band. Another good reason is because it helps get both your left hand and your right hand strong and equal. It also gives you a lot of different sticking patterns to use that are applied all throughout percussion, in drum set, on timpani, on mallets, all over the place. For instance, if you're playing drum set and you want to play like a fill or something like that, you might play a paradiddle between the snare drum and the tom-tom. Makes a very cool fill. So what are the 5 basic rudiments that I think are basic anyway? Well, here's the 5 that I think are basic. Rolls. Rolls have double strokes in them. Now I'm going to show you like a 5-stroke roll and a 9-stroke roll, but there's rolls of all sorts of different lengths, and they all have double strokes in them. Paradiddle. Paradiddle is a really nice rudiment because it combines the single strokes and the double strokes. Ruffs. Another one that combines single strokes and double strokes, but actually a double stroke and a single stroke. Flams. Flams are a really good one too. And of course, the first one we started out with, the single stroke. That's a real good one also. So remember, the 2 basic ones are single stroke and double stroke. So now let's get into what some rolls and some paradiddles and some ruffs and some flams look like. First off, we're going to do a roll. We're going to do a really basic roll called a 5-stroke roll. And the reason it's called a 5-stroke roll is because the stick tips hit the drum head 5 times. This is what it looks like starting with my right hand. Right, right, left, left, right. Right, right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right, left. Left, left, right, right, left. Then do it rudimentally, slow, fast, slow. This is what it would sound like. Look, very cool roll. Very cool rudiment, that is. So the next roll is the 9-stroke roll. Now, a 5-stroke roll had 5 strokes in it. A 9-stroke roll has 9 hits of the tip on the drum. Like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So double, 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 single. Double, 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 single. Combination of double strokes and single strokes. Like I said before, those are the 2 basic sticking types. 2 basic sticking types. Double strokes and single strokes. So, starting with the right hand, it looks like this. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left. So now let's go to the next rudiment, the paradiddle. Kind of a funny name, paradiddle, but like I said, rudimental drumming comes from an oral tradition. And a paradiddle, when you play it, actually kind of sounds like the word paradiddle. Now, the diddle part comes from the fact that you're going to use a double stroke. Paradiddles are a single stroke in the right, a single stroke in the left, and then double in the right. Then a single stroke in the left, and a single stroke in the right, and a double in the left. Sounds like this. Paradiddle, 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 paradiddle. Let's do it really slow. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Now you can see if you're playing drum set and you go right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. That would make a pretty cool fill if you're doing it fast enough. And paradiddles fast sound like this. Now, paradiddles are one of the families of rudiments. It's like I said before, there's 5 categories of rudiments. The rolls are a category. Paradiddles are a category, and there's all sorts of different kind of paradiddles. The first one we did was a plain paradiddle, which was right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. There's something called a double paradiddle, which is 4 singles and then a diddle. So right, left, diddle, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, 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 left, 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 right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, left. There's a longer kind of paradiddle than that. The next group is the roughs. Now the roughs are a double and a single. And when you do it fast, it kind of sounds like the word rough. So this is what it looks like. We're going to start with a right hand rough. Now there's 2 kind of special things you got to think about with roughs. Before, when we were doing the paradiddle and the roll, the doubles and the single are pretty much the same volume. That's not always the case with a rough. With a rough, usually the double is slightly less volume than the single stroke is. Looks like this. Left, left, right. Left, left, right. Right, right, left. Right, right, left. Left, left, right. Right, right, left. Left, left, right. Right, right, left. Of course, if you play them softly, then the diddle's even softer, like this. Now there's a whole group of rudiments that are worked around or built around the rough. Sometimes they have other rhythms in there as well, so it might be like, or so they all contain a rough. Now the next category is going to be the flam. Flam is sort of like a rough, except instead of the soft note being 2 bounces or 2 stick hits, it's 1. So it's kind of a combination of the single strokes. It kind of comes out of the single strokes, sort of. So when you're doing a single stroke, you're doing this single, 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 right? Well, now you take 1 single and get it really close to the other one. So it sounds like this. And again, 1 note is much quieter than the main note. But they're both single strokes. Single, 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 single. Looks like this. So far, we've talked about the 2 basic strokes and rudiments, the single stroke and the double stroke, and we've talked about the 5 groups of rudiments. The rolls, the flams, the paradiddles, the roughs, and the single stroke. Those are the basics. But now, you got to start kind of working on those basics, and it's going to take a little bit of a while. So for me, it took about a year when I was very young, say 10 or 11, before I really got to the point where I started really getting my stickings right and really learning my rudiments. So it takes time. So if you don't get the flam just right to begin with, it kind of doesn't sound right, that's okay because it's going to take time. Double strokes, especially when you start doing them faster and get that springing mechanism going on in your fingers, that's going to take some time as well. So don't worry about that. It's going to take time and you will get better. Now let's talk about 2 other things that are really important. Now, when we opened this small little video about rudiments, I was playing on my snare drum. And I was playing a piece from the Haskell-Hard Method book. There's a book 1 and a book 2. Very good. When they came out when I was a kid, they came out with a piano book so that you could have a piano accompanist play with you. But now they actually come out with CDs, which is very cool. The book 1 teaches basic rudiments. Book 2 teaches some music and then also teaches rudimental tunes at the end, which is what the tune I was playing, Prince Edward, is. Because a lot of rudimental drumming comes out of fife and bugle corps, and of course drum corps international now. If you get a chance, go check out the Old Guard Fife and Drum Corps, which is from the U.S. Army. They're on the U.S. Army Band site. And check out the Marine Drum and Bugle Corps. That'll give you a really good range of what the older style of rudiments looks like and what the newer style of rudiments looks like, as well as it'll show you a couple really important things about rudiments in general. For instance, if you listen to the Prince Edward I did in the beginning, you'll hear that I threw accents in and things like that. Well, when you're playing a piece like that with the Fife and Drum Corps, those accents are being played by the bugle and by the flute piccolo, really piccolo. So you're actually, accents are matching the melody line of the piece of music. That's kind of an important thing. And that happens when you're playing rock music and jazz music and timpani and things like that. A lot of the things you do on the drums matches the melody line of the music you're playing with. Now here's another important thing we got to talk about. Sticks, holding the sticks. Now the way I was holding them today is called match grip. And that basically means that I hold them the same in both hands. In this case, the fulcrum point, a little bit of science here now, the pivot part, fulcrum point, where the stick moves up and down, is between my thumb and my first finger, and then the springy comes from the back fingers there. Same on this hand, pivot point between my thumb and my first finger, and my other fingers rest on the back of the stick and act like a spring. Now, if you do go out to the Old Guard Fife and Drum Corps and look at the videos of them playing, which I do highly recommend, you're going to see that they're playing differently. They're holding their sticks differently. And they're holding their sticks in what is known as the traditional grip. And you see, I move my practice pad around, and there's a reason for that. Match grip, when you put your arms down to play with it, you're going to see when my drum is tilted, I'm going to be hitting the rim a lot. Traditional grip was how they played when they carried or wore the drums. They'd have a single strap across their body, and the drum would hang, and it would hang on a tilt. So you got to get your sticks to tilt a little bit. So this is traditional grip. Match grip in the right hand, but in the left hand, you're taking your stick, you're sliding it between the two fingers in the middle, you're wrapping the top fingers over the stick, and you're holding the stick right here where your thumb is. So that fulcrum or pivot point is really kind of coming right here where your thumb holds the stick down. And then the springy, most of the springy is coming from the top fingers and this one finger right here where the stick rests. Looks kind of like this. Playing rudiments. That's how the Fife and Drum Corps plays. A lot of marching bands play that way as well. So you're going to see it both ways. You're going to see it match grip, and you're going to see people play traditional grip. One more thing. If you're starting out as a young person and just learning rudiments, it's a really good idea to get a practice pad, because if you play loud like that all the time on a snare drum, your hearing's going to go bad, your mom and dad aren't going to sleep well, and your neighbors aren't going to sleep well either, and that's kind of bad news. So the good thing is to get a practice pad. Now this one particular practice pad I'm playing on for my demonstration is a Remo practice pad. It uses an actual drum head, and the drum head is screwed down on top of sponge underneath. Not too expensive at all. It's got a little screw on the bottom so you can attach it to a stand. Here's a real feel pad from way, way back in the day with gum rubber on it. This one is a full-sized one. You can even make this in wood shop if you know how to, or if your dad or somebody in your family does woodworking. Basically a piece of wood with gum rubber glued on it. And it sounds like this. Pretty quiet, huh? That's pretty quiet. And then Real Feel, the same company that made this gum rubber one, now makes it with a neoprene. So it's a piece of wood with a neoprene. And as you can tell, this one is a smaller size than that one. I use this one when I have to go to a gig, and I don't want to carry a real heavy one, and I just slide this into my music bag so that I can just pull it out real quick and that's good. It's good that it's quiet, because the thing that you need to do is exercise your hands and get them working. That's part of starting out with the drums. And even as you get better and better and better, everybody practices on a practice pad to keep the muscles going. In a lot of ways, being a drummer is almost like being an athlete, because you're using a lot of muscles, but they're smaller than, say, if you're tackling somebody in football or playing soccer. And they're mostly in your hands. Oh, and by the way, rudiments that we just talked about, when you start playing drum set, you start playing those rudiments in your feet as well. But that's a different topic for a different day. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'd like to thank the Livonia Symphony for sponsoring the video. And please go out to the Percussive Arts Society and dig up the list of at least 26 rudiments. This is actually a book that they publish that has the full long list. And in the full long list, there is at least 40 drum rudiments now. The original 26 were the ones that I learned from. But as Percussive Arts Society grew, they became international, and other countries have different military drum histories than we do, and in some instances have different rudiments. Sometimes they have the same rudiment, but they call it something different. Sometimes they came up with a whole different new set of rudiments. So you got to check this out. Also comes with a CD, so you can listen to a top-notch guy play the rudiments, which is a very cool thing. And hopefully you get a teacher, because teachers definitely help you with your rudiments. But hopefully during this time of COVID, this video will help you out. So thank you very much, and enjoy your day. Keep on drumming. Bye for now.